Hello, everybody. Happy holidays. Thank you very much. I appreciate you watching. I'm Orlando Ruiz Jr. Welcome to another classic movie review. I am talking about a certain 1980s classic in honor of Mr. Rob Reiner, one of my favorite directors. Very tragically and sadly has passed away at the age of 78, him and his wife, on the 14th of December 2025. It's very, very sad. But this guy was a terrific storyteller, and he will forever leave a legacy of great movies. Sometime in the very near future, like in the early part of 2026, I do want to do a top 10 best Rob Reiner movies list because he's made some of my favorite movies. Movies like Misery, When Harry Met Sally, Ghosts of Mississippi. There was also This is Spinal Tap. You also got The Princess Bride. You also got The American President. Goes on and on. This guy made some classics like this movie right here from 1986, starring Will Wheaton, River Phoenix. You also have Corey Feldman and Jerry O'Connell. I am talking about The Great Stand By Me. Based on a story from Stephen King called The Body, this story was in a book that featured a collection of stories from King, published in 1982. It was called Different Seasons. It's a coming of age story about four boys, preteens, that live in a town called Castle Rock in 1959. You got the character of Gordy, played by Will Wheaton. When he got a bit older, he showed up in Star Trek The Next Generation. You also have the late River Phoenix, who was also in classics like The Mosquito Coast, My Own Private Idaho, Running on Empty, Indiana Jones, and The Last Crusade. He plays Chris in the film. As Vern, you have Jerry O'Connell, who appeared in movies like Jerry Maguire, Joe's Apartment, Kangaroo Jack, Scream 2, and you also have Corey Feldman from movies like The Lost Boys, License to Drive, Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter, which we all know wasn't. The four friends hear news of a missing teenager, Ray Brower, whose body might be out in the woods somewhere. So they decide that they're going to go out and try and find the body and make a bit of an adventure out of it. Throughout the film, we hear a bit of narration of the story from Will Wheaton's character Gordy, but the grown-up version of Gordy. So we hear the voice of Richard Dreyfuss of Jaws and Close Encounters and What About Bob? And so it's pretty obvious throughout the story that because the Gordy character is a writer, since he likes to tell stories to his friends and his friends all love his stories, you can pretty much get a sense that he's kind of Stephen King in this little group. At least that's how it seems, especially in a story or a movie from Stephen King where one of the main characters happens to be a writer. You just feel like he's putting much of himself in his own characters, in his stories. At least that's how it feels with this, and also with the character of Bill Devereaux in It. River Phoenix's character Chris is kind of the natural leader of the group. He's kind of a take charge kind of kid. You also have Vern, who is basically the chubby kid who is there to be picked on every now and then. You know, he's there to complain about how he's hungry or tired or wants to go home. And last, Corey Feldman's character Teddy, who is the one that always seems like he has a chip on his shoulder, like he has something to prove. And throughout the movie, you get a bit deeper into why he's kind of emotionally messed up. But yeah, there's a scene involving a train and all the kids. Upon your first viewing of the film, that scene can be very suspenseful because it's so well acted and so well directed. Our main characters also have to contend with big scary dogs, big scary adults, leeches, and even bullies in the form of Kiefer Sutherland before the Lost Boys. During their couple days walk through the woods to find the body of Ray Brower, the four friends have their ups and downs. They joke and laugh a lot, but they also argue and bicker and fight at times. By the time it gets towards the end, they have all learned a bit more about each other. And as a viewer, you might just start reflecting on your own childhood experiences and little adventures you had with your friends as a kid. When it comes to stories like this, centered around characters that are this young, a lot of times many of these types of movies live or die based on the performances of the child actors involved. But in this case, each of these child actors are great. In fact, excellent. The film also has some genuine moments of humor, a couple of oh shit moments, and some pretty familiar faces like a young John Cusack from classics like High Fidelity and Better Off Dead, Grosse Point Blank. Also, look out for the star of 3 O'Clock High and also appeared in Young Guns, Casey Size Mekio. Also had a short little part in Back to the Future, which I recently talked about. And it has a pretty good collection of classic 1950s rock and roll oldie songs on the soundtrack, which don't hurt it none. Come 2026, this movie is now turning 40 years old, which doesn't make me feel any bit younger, but still a classic. 4 stars from 1986. Stand By Me. You gotta check this movie out. You can find it on streaming. You guys know me though, I'm a hard copy guy. Got my copy right here. As a fan of All in the Family, one of the best sitcoms of the 1970s, when you stop and think about it, it is kind of a trip how a character known as Meathead became one of the best directors of his generation. And I'm even a fan of his pops, Carl Reiner, known for playing the character of Alan Brady on a little show known as The Dick Van Dyke Show. Throughout the year of 2026, look out for more reviews from me of more Rob Reiner movies, as well as my top 10 best Rob Reiner films coming out very soon. Thank you all very much for watching this classic movie review. I always appreciate it. If you're into the classics, if you're into movies, if you're into this kind of thing, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications on more reviews coming out from me very soon. If you're a returning viewer, thank you very much for your reviews and support. Always appreciate it. Please don't forget to comment, share, like. It always helps. I'll see you guys in the next classic movie review. Everybody take care of each other. Till next time, peace out. Happy holidays. Happy New Year.